Hi guys, this is Meonmurder. Welcome to the 5th chapter of Allimir's adventures. If you enjoy this, leave a like and a comment and subscribe to the channel. I hope you enjoy it.
The Chronicles of Allimir, the Dowry of Fuerrta. Chapter 5. Ageneratus. The ringing in his ears was getting louder, shrill, piercing. The tomb walls began to close in. Allimir pushed his arms out as if to stop them, spinning around to cover all angles. His mouth burned with the taste of fire, his body numbing, eyes glazing. Losing his footing, Allimir fell to the tomb floor, clawing, scrambling, desperately trying to fight the effects of the potion. Finally, he passed from consciousness, his last thoughts filled with voices from his past. Filthy Inalu. That is his purpose. I will not let you go. Then darkness. Silence. He's dead, you know. Takar sneered with morose delectation. If the wolves, gawks, bandits, and forsworn have not killed him, then the hag-ravens will have for sure. Take that back, or feel my dagger in your gut, Fuerrta warned, removing the blade from its sheath. I'm only stating the facts, Takar continued, smiling smugly. The dangers are many in Skyrim. Even I may find some difficulty in the task set by your father, he proclaimed with boasting pride. You would piss your pants and run home to your wet nurse without the backing of a large army behind you, you pompous son of a... Fuerrta was stopped short by the gentle touch of a hand upon her shoulder. Stay your dagger, daughter, her mother's voice softly spoke. But he... I know, her mother interrupted again, placing her hand lovingly on Fuerrta's face. She turned to Takar. If I knew what was good for me, I would leave. Now. Takar looked at Fuerrta with anger in his eyes. What I say is the truth. He turned and walked away, kicking the ground like a scorned child. Fuerrta's mother, Farina, was high priestess to Ifra. Like Fuerrta, she was tall and slender in appearance, olive of skin, piercing green eyes, and heralded as the most beautiful of all elves across the entirety of Tamriel. Daughter to the then clan leader Gryffindor, famed for his epic victory over the master necromancer Jarl, had been courted by many Bosmer hunters. Trinital finally victorious after returning with her dowry. They were bonded soon after, Trinital then becoming clan leader. This is how it was with all Bosmer clans. The first daughter of the clan leader would dictate the next clan leader with whomever she bonded. This ensured that only the strongest and most worthy would lead each clan. You must remember your position, Fuerrta, Farina explained. Daughter of the clan leader cannot be seen to be getting involved in petty squabbles. But, Farina interrupted again. No, Fuerrta, there are no buts. The position you hold demands you conduct yourself in a certain manner. Yes, mother, Fuerrta said, her head bowed in submission. You love him, don't you? Farina asked sympathetically. Takar, Fuerrta snapped. You are joking, I hope. No, foolish child. Allimir, the Inalu. Allimir opened his eyes, although darkness was still upon him. A muffled voice spoke, but he was unable to make out the words. Elf! The voice became clearer, Allimir's eyes slowly focusing. Elf! The voice shouted this time. If you lay there too long, you'd be some desperate creature's meal, and looking at you, they'd have to be desperate. Allimir sat upright, shaking his head to clear the confusion. That's right, the voice came again. Wakey, wakey. Allimir looked at the figure standing above him. A Nord, fair of skin with a long braid of almost white hair slung over his shoulder. He was wearing heavy Nordic armour, symbols etched into his breastplate, golden tassels cascading from the clasps on his cape, which was a deep, blood-like red. The Nord stretched out his arm, offering Allimir his hand, and joked, "Get up, don't get up, but let me know which, before death takes me from old age." Allimir accepted, pulling himself to his feet. "Anon, son of Algot, my sleepy friend, I am at your service." A big smile spread across Anon's face, and he pulled Allimir towards him, embracing him heartily. "By the looks of that hag-raven, you've had some fun here. What brings you this far north?" Anon inquired. Allimir, still a little groggy, puffed up his chest and spoke with importance and purpose. "My name is Allimir, son of Brulom, and I am on a quest to win the hand of my love." "A noble quest, my new friend," Anon said with respect. "And what is your need of a hag-raven?" Allimir looked down at the disgusting creature's lifeless body, an empty potion bottle lying at its side. He moved his hands to his face tentatively, feeling for the familiar scar that had haunted him his entire life. He felt nothing but smooth, unblemished skin. He looked at his hands, which were now olive in colour. "What do you see?" Allimir asked Anon excitedly. "Did you hit your head, elf?" was Anon's reply. Allimir asked again, this time with more urgency in his voice. "What do you see?" Anon looked at Allimir, examining his features closely. "A Bosma elf?" replied Anon, wondering if this was some sort of test. "One that has either bumped his head a little too hard or been drinking way too much Nordic ale." A smile began to spread upon Allimir's now scar-free mouth. "It worked! It worked! Praise Ifra, it worked!" Allimir lunged at Anon, startling him, wrapped his arms around the bewildered Nord, and jumped up and down excitedly. "Yea, it worked," Anon spoke, a look of utter confusion on his face and a little fear in his eyes. A noise from the entrance to the tomb stopped their celebrations. Allimir spun around, only to see a forsworn archer releasing an arrow from his bow. Time suddenly slowed. Every detail, every sound, every second became inexplicably lucid to Allimir. The arrow seemed to move in slow motion towards them, almost hanging in the dank air of the tomb. What in Ifra's name is happening now? Allimir thought. The arrow continued on its now much decelerated path, still heading for Anon, whose face was contorted in terror at the impending doom. Allimir plucked the arrow from the air, twisting it in his agile fingers, and threw it back at the forsworn with force. Almost as soon as he had released it, time returned to its rightful speed, and it struck the arch with such force that it lifted him from his feet and flung him from the tomb entrance. Something else had happened to Allimir after consuming Ageneratus. Not only had he removed the curse of Inalu, he had gained something unknown, something powerful, and whether this power came from dark or light, only time would tell. Looking at each other utterly bemused, Anon raised his eyebrows and, purveying the situation, spoke. "Remind me not to anger you, Allimir the Sleepy."